When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code EOTT at firearmslegal.com for a discount on all membership plans. Protect yourself. We'll protect you.
supposed to ride. Standing in the station, ready to step inside. All you can see, something that you do, was red as the future was waiting for you. Train rolls in the station, you cannot make a move. Something inside you gives you heat, and then you know it's true. Is the fog lifting, or is it in your mind? You stand frozen as time unwinds. And moan, you can't reach your hand up and stop standing alone. Let them take your hand as you lift your face. Rise and take your place.
So, hey, folks, welcome to the show. It is we're in Ohio. It is cold and wet and
Wintry.
It's 20 degrees warmer than yesterday. So, welcome to Ohio. You never know what you're going to get the next morning.
It's still drab and yucky looking.
Welcome to Ohio. That's how.
I mean, it's one thing when the sun shines, it makes you feel good, but when you just go outside and it's just blah.
Well, we're waiting to get to a place where the sun shines. So Rob and I are putting together all of the final preparation to head to Las Vegas for the big gun dealer show. SHOT Show is what it's called. And it is where they roll out all the new stuff. And so this year we're hearing so much there's new stuff coming out, and then gloom and doom, and then there's a pandemic, and why are y'all going to some
last year they
place?
didn't really get to roll out anything in the ta-da fashion.
No, because they canceled. So last year's SHOT Show was canceled. So really the last major thing that we had gone to was SHOT Show 2020. So here we are, and we're getting ready to go to that. So our intent is to be able to, there's an opportunity to go to the desert and shoot new things. And so we're hearing that it is happening, but we don't really know the scope. We know what it was like. We don't know what the new normal is. But we're hoping
we've been cooped up so long, we'll take whatever.
Whatever that is. And then we'll share it with you so that as we go and we address the new stuff and touch it and look at it, we're all extremely excited.
You know, the funny is we don't really have to have new stuff. I mean, we're just as
we could be just as happy with the old
flintlock
stuff
or something as any of it. So,
well, there is that. I mean, you can look at the features of something and you can discover something that you've had around. I mean, it's sort of like rereading a book. You know, you forgot this and you forgot that, and so our video producer says that he will welcome comments. So if you are watching us through OpsLens, through YouTube, through
Apple TV or whatever.
Yeah, so any of the on-demand TVs through the OpsLens channel, or through Facebook Live, OpsLens Live, Polite Society. There's a multiple ways to get to the video portion, plus the radio portion, plus the podcast portion. And so there's all of this stuff is happening. But if you are doing any of the on-demand Facebooky, YouTubey things, you can comment, and then those comments show up on.
Some of them are starting to comment. I see there was some black powder shooters, and this one, Marlin Ruger's.
So he's looking forward to seeing the new Marlin Ruger rifles.
Me too. They said they were going to be out third quarter last year, and then that was the end of what we heard about it.
And then it slowed off, so yeah. So Diane wants to know, how do you get tickets to SHOT Show? Unfortunately, this is not an event that is open to the public.
Right, you have to be part of the industry, whether you have a FFL or you're a manufacturer or you do something in that arena. So if you know a gun shop, they could possibly get you in, but...
Right. Otherwise, you definitely have to be in the industry, because this is not the open show is like the NRA show, the Great American Outdoors Show.
Those are also coming up pretty soon, the Great American.
Great American, I know. As soon as I retire, I can go to it, because I don't have enough time, and it always falls exactly when the biggest rush at work is. So I am so looking forward to that. Just saying. So I want you to know that right before we went on air, Rob says, "Oh, by the way, I brought you a cannon, and it's in the back of my truck." So, woohoo, I have a cannon. So if you guys have been listening to the show for any length of time, I wanted my own cannon, and he's like, "Oh, I could give you one."
Now you just don't, you got to get a carriage and all the stuff. So
now I have
if you need wheels or how you're hauling it around, or if you're just going to mount it on your jackass's back and there's a saddle horn.
Now I have to have cannon construction.
So you put it on a saddle horn so that you just make sure that your mule ducks when you shoot your cannon.
Keep your head low. Hang low, sweet chariot. Yeah, exactly. No, I would think that would hurt his little ears. You know, because if you're not behind the boom, it's got to be exciting. And I would think then the ride on him directly after.
Nah, you would shoot right from the back of your camel.
I would think that would get exciting also. I do not think that the camel would be like, oh, well, dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee.
Never mind.
I'm thinking, have you ever been on a really fast camel?
We're on the go right now.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't know how fast it could be with a Gatling gun and 4 drums of ammo and you on with him. I mean, how fast can he actually...
I would think that it could be motivated to pretty darn fast. So my video producer wants to know, since I'm jonesing for a flamethrower, when that's coming. So far, unless someone's going to gift me one, the answer to that is not. So no flamethrower, though I would welcome that. It would be so much fun to have my own
Build yourself
personal
one. There can't be that much to it.
That's what you keep saying.
You just got to be able to squirt the juice out and light it on fire without lighting yourself on fire.
There you go. Therein lies the potential. The potential for catastrophe is right there. So we'll just worry about putting wheels on my cannon. So what size projectiles does my new cannon shoot?
I think this is about a 1-inch board cannon. I don't know. I didn't look that close. There was a pile of them. I just grabbed one.
Oh, there you go. Because everybody has a pile of cannon barrels that just kind of are around.
Well, if you're sharp like I do, you do have a pile of cannon barrels.
Well, I'm so excited. So we're gonna make this a project that all y'all can watch and see how this goes. But there you go. So that's really where the stuff that we've got going on. We're getting ready to go to SHOT Show. I actually am headed to Virginia on Wednesday because the NRA's committee meetings are happening, and I'm on the grassroots committee. And so the NRA, this has been virtual a lot too. So the fact that there's face-to-face meetings there, once again, are kind of exciting. So stay tuned, folks, because I want to know what the NRA is doing. I want to know how they're doing it. So I'm involved. So when they
we're getting back to some kind of new normal anyhow, huh?
I think so. So that way
as long as Dr. Fauci doesn't find out about it.
Yeah, if he finds me in Virginia, we're busted. No, I don't know. Planes go there, so I'm on one. But I want to see what the NRA is all about, what's going on with it, because I really do want it at some point, and that may be coming sooner rather than later, to figure out how to run for the NRA board. Having them nominate me is not working, so potentially it may be that I'm reaching out to all you guys that are NRA life members to help me get onto
Probably be cushier if you just wanted to be a senator. I mean, that way you'd get the golden parachute, all the stuff, and
it'd probably be less trauma, less nasty emails.
Probably do the Second Amendment more good there too. Then
as a senator, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that being a senator is.
I could handle all your hate mail.
Okay, because I'm not thinking that I'd like that, but
I'm not thinking they would either.
Okay, so I'm not thinking they would either. That would potentially be that it would get us in trouble. So Patrick Collins is saying he's going to see us at SHOT Show, so that is great. So he is down. Last I heard, he's in somewhere near Georgia, Atlanta.
I don't know. He showed us how to travel on the.
I know he could get around everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So we may need some pointers for this new location that's happening at SHOT Show.
Well, we bumble through, and he's got it all planned out how to jump on this train and this bus and this.
I know, and everybody else is like, "You did what?" Well, we followed Patrick.
And we had a fun time doing it.
So Diane says that there's one vote for me. Diane says I'd make a great senator. Have you seen the Ohio Senate race? It is a bloodbath. They're going to spend $30 million to get a senator elected in the state of Ohio.
The best part is it's not their $30 million. They just keep getting them from somebody else.
Somebody else. Well, there's
expecting a payoff in the end.
There are a lot. There are absolutely a lot of people in the has jumped in that mix.
We allow that they spend $30 million to get a $150,000 job.
Yeah, but it's not their $30 million. So it really is priming the economy because it's spent in the state because the guy who's printing, the guy who owns the TV station.
TV T-shirt guy,
Right.
all that stuff.
The sign makers.
All of them
Yeah.
gotta have a gas card, right?
Well, I'm telling you, they're spending hard. So I'm not thinking that being a senator is in my future, but anyhow, it should be. And I'm not sure that Washington, D.C. is ready for the likes of this kind of a two-way advocate. You know, it could be bad. It could be real bad. We'll be back right after this.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and
If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers.
Offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code EOTT at firearmslegal.com for a discount on all membership plans. Protect yourself. We'll protect you.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
So we're back, and this is our history section. And I want you all to know that Rob came over yesterday, and he brought a gun. And I'm not quite sure why. He didn't have a gun rug, but he brought it in an oven mitt. And so it was, here's some hot iron in this oven mitt, right? What was that, and why is it traveling incognito in an oven mitt?
Well, that oven mitt works fabulous for keeping it from getting banged around, and it's what else would you keep your heater in?
Something like that. So Diane has a question: is what is a good price for a Ruger Mark I? So for all of our listeners, a Ruger Mark 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, right?
I think 4 is as far as I've gone so far. But
okay, so they have up to through 4
different variations through the thing.
Of the same design, and they've just kind of.
And so the Mark 1 is the very earliest one, and it really it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, as they say. But it was they built it for a long time. I couldn't really tell you what a good price is on that. The last one of those I bought was during the bicentennial, so it's been a while.
There you go. The one thing I can tell you about the Ruger Mark pistols is that if you have several of them, do not mix the magazines, because some have a magazine button, the 22 magazine slide button on the right, and some have it on the left.
Right, and some of the magazines you can convert them, but it's not very convenient. So even if you get out to the field and all of a sudden you find out you have the wrong magazine, it's not a job to switch over. Julie Golob coming on, and she's talking about a new bullet that they're bringing out. And I wanted to talk about auto-loading pistols. When they first started out in the 1890s, I don't believe that we've had self-loading pistols that long. They were all small caliber, like 5, 6, 7, 8 millimeter. Actually, when Browning brought out the 32 automatic in 1899, that was a powerhouse in Europe, and the police moved to it right away and everything. Then when the 380 came out in 1908, that was another big move towards magnum power. Here in this country, we had this guy named John Thompson, and in 1909 he was in the Army. He was tasked with finding out which bullet was the most effective, and so he went to the stockyards and started shooting things with different pistols.
So he was there. They were
computers, and
they were there slated for dispatch, and so he was the pre-dispatch
So before computer simulations and all this stuff, they would just go to the stockyard and try them out to see which one worked the best. And he said that the 45 caliber rimless smokeless round of the 1905 Colt was the winner, and we know it today as the 45 ACP, and all of America now thinks that anything smaller than the 45 is something that is a beginner gun, or something you start the kids out on so they can't hurt themselves. But Europeans still think that a 380 is
it. So it depends on whether you're trying to go through.
So we have a new this new pistol. It's coming out. They call it a Super 30, but it's actually a 32 caliber, and it looks like it's going to post some Magnum performance numbers in that. I'll let her tell you about them more. But the FBI says that the standard 32 automatic with the 60 grain Winchester silver tip bullet has as much stopping power as 125 grain hollow points in a 357 Magnum. So,
okay, so wait, go back again, because you roll that off and everybody's like, what? Wait, what?
So the 32 ACP cartridge with 60 grain Winchester silver tip bullets has the same stopping power as a 357 Magnum pistol with 125 grain hollow point bullets. So it's as much as we think of it as a toy or an antique, it's actually very usable and still.
And so the beauty of this, there's so much opportunity with this, because there's more women shooters, there's more small hands. So this is a smaller caliber, so it can go in a smaller package.
So they can put it in a smaller gun or put more bullets into a big gun, and It's also, I mean, they're saying like it's going to be an 1,200 foot a second range, so it's going to be hot like a 9mm. So it should be a winner in the long run. And with the small,
and we haven't really had new ammo that
we've been sticking with the same old stuff over the years. The last basically new stuff we've had is some 32 Magnum things that they tried back in the 80s,
and the 380, which was an older cartridge, kind of found a new life in the 2006,
I think a lot of it is because of the concealed carry market is so hot, and then they're looking for small guns. When I was a kid, a 25 automatic was the smallest gun you could buy. And today they make 9mm that are the size of those 25 automatic guns. So with this new cartridge is even smaller, they should be able to make guns that are even smaller. So
we're looking forward to what Julie Golob has to say, and then the historical perspective of what that brings. And so it's all kind of,
the funny part too is World War I, the French were looking for something new, and so they got a hold of Remington, and Remington built them a mini BAR, and it shot this 32 long cartridge.
Okay.
The French didn't like the BAR, but they really liked that cartridge, and so they stuck with it all the way through World War II. And so in the 1935 MAB pistols, they used as this 32 long cartridge. And
okay.
So if this may, if nothing else, gives those people some brass to actually make historical firearm shoot again. Also, too, with the 03A3 during World War I, they had built a Peterson device, which you read about, but you hardly ever see them. And it fits in where the bolt goes, and then the gun would be semi-automatic, and it shot a 30 caliber pistol bullet, that much like this here that you could. It turned their bolt action rifle into a semi-automatic, but with much less power due to the fact that it was a pistol-sized bullet.
Right.
But by the time that they got them ready to ship to Europe, the Germans decided that they had enough and had quit, so they destroyed almost all of them, and a Peterson device today is very expensive.
Very expensive, very valuable, very obscure, and you just don't see them. So when we come back, we should have Julie Golob on the line.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code EOTT at firearmslegal.com for a discount on all membership plans. Protect yourself. We'll protect you.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Seppacool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the D.C. Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Writing Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Writing Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
Hi, this is Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. I wanted to let you know that the show you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. You can check out all the shows on the network by going to selfdefenseradio.net or tune in for more on Self-Defense Mondays on Karma Radio, krmaradio.com.
Okay, we are back, and with us we have Julie Golob. And Julie, if you don't know it, she is the only USPSA national champion in the history of the world who has brought home 7 different titles, championships. She's got gold medals, silver medals. We'll just say she is a shooting rock star. And she is also extremely knowledgeable about guns and gear, and she is probably one of the nicest people in the entire industry. And so
Sure. Well, I'm not a historian per se, but one of the things that we know that for the most part within development of ammunition across the board has been primarily based on military and law enforcement experience when it comes to self-defense ammo, right? And so when federal premiums started to look into designing this new caliber, they really wanted to hone in on that person who's carrying, that person who wants to use their firearm for self and home defense. And with that, they acknowledged a lot of different characteristics, what was important to that consumer, that user, and overwhelmingly today especially, capacity is a major, major thing for people who want to carry guns. And so they began to look at ways to take the tried and true calibers that we know that people love for carrying. That's, 9mm and .380 for those smaller carry guns that people can carry easily all day long. And they basically created this really neat new cartridge that's very powerful, but it has a .312 inch diameter.
Okay, so it's a smaller diameter than a 9mm, and so that means that equates to either a smaller hand grip or more bullets, or a combination.
That's exactly it. Yes. So when you think of small carry guns like the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, for example, in 380, it's very, very small. It's very, very light. It has a very small, thin grip. You could go even smaller because now you've slimmed everything down. Or if you took a pistol, let's say Shield Plus size, now you're adding 2 rounds of capacity to an already, capable firearm that has a good amount of capacity to it. So it's really kind of giving firearms manufacturers and consumers the option to either go smaller or go bigger in capacity charge.
So is the recoil lighter on this than say the 9mm or the 380, or about the same, or?
So because it's so new, I'm going to confess, I have not yet shot it. I am chomping at the bit to try it. But what I do know from the ballistics is that we're taking a 100-grain bullet and we're pushing it at 1,200 feet per second. So that's already a lot faster than a 99-grain 380 bullet. And even a 124-grain 9mm, that's going 1150 typically when you're talking about self-defense ammo, like HST, for example. So it's moving. It's hustling along. And when you combine that speed with the grain size, they're finding that the penetration is also very comparable to 9mm. The statistics are very, very impressive. And as we see more and more guns come out, and I can't wait to shoot one myself, I'm super excited to give it a try.
Oh, so are we. Do you know if they're going to have that at SHOT Show? That's one of the reasons for the timing of rolling this out now?
I would imagine so. I would imagine that if there are any, hands-on writers events and that sort of thing going on that Federal and Smith & Wesson are supporting, there are currently 3 handguns out there. There's a 1911 from Nighthawk, and then Smith & Wesson has the Shield EZ and the Shield Plus as an option for super carry currently.
Oh, wow. So this will come in the EZ platform?
The EZ is very popular around us. Everybody loves that. I'm calling it right now. That's going to be the Rockstar winner.
Well, and what it is it takes an 8-round gun, right, and it makes it a 10-rounder. And so already you're leveling the playing field in that regard with capacity, and the difference between shooting the 380 and the 9mm Shield EZ are pretty minor. They shoot very flat and soft, both of them. So I feel like this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be excited about.
Oh, there's a lot of buzz in the industry about this. And it's so funny watching people take sides on something that they haven't held in their hand yet, they haven't looked at, they haven't, they just heard something and they're like, I've got an opinion.
I see a lot of them when they talk about the 7.62 by 25 and the 30 M1 carbine, and they say, well, we already have those in pistols, but they're so huge that you can hardly get your hand around the gun, so it doesn't make for a concealed carry gun. This will be so much nicer. And with as small as they've made the new 9mm and 380s, how much smaller can they go in a micro platform to get these done even littler?
Right.
Yeah. And it's very exciting.
It really is. And then, in the women's market, and I'm sure, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I'm telling our listeners that in the women's market, those EZ firearms, when Smith & Wesson looked at it and said, look, let's take the things that are hardest for women, let's tear those apart, let's identify them, and then let's fix them. And they did all of that in the EZ platform. They really did, so that you can load the magazines easier, you can rack the pistol easier. They just made it so much easier. And so for them to put this 30 Super Carry on that platform is just rock star.
Well, it just increases the confidence factor all the way around, because now you have a round that's going to perform very well. Initial testings, I think it's 15.5 inches for penetration into gel. So, a woman who's a little reluctant to carry something powerful can now be confident that she has something that is powerful in a platform that she can actually shoot well. So that's the real win, right?
Right. Yeah. So that they can manipulate it then, and as soon as they can handle it and manipulate it, and they don't need help, then it's a confidence booster. It really helps them to go to the range and shoot and do it because all of a sudden they are capable and confident.
Right early on, they were all trying to carry 22s because they could actually work the slide on a lot of those. And now that this is the EZ platforms, give them a full size gun to deal with. So
yeah, that's going to be neat. It would be interesting to see if they could use the easy design to make it in a slightly smaller gun for more concealability, because the easy's not quite a micro gun. Well, it's not a micro gun, and some of the gals are so small statured that they've gotten really creative in how they conceal that gun. And so any word that way? Because the Bodyguard is such a nice size gun.
It is. I obviously, as a shooter for Smith & Wesson, can't speak about future products, but I do think that, with this particular caliber and with the innovations that we're seeing from Smith & Wesson, from, you have the Bodyguard to the Shield Plus to the Shield EZ, and then the CSX, there's definitely room for growth and finding these niche markets and really getting, the right handgun for the right person set up. So I'm excited.
I am too. I mean, we're going to be putting together a concealed carry fashion show at the NRA's annual meeting again this year, and so it's always great to be able to offer to demonstrate concealability of new things so that people can see how those guns hide.
they put some of the these rounds in like revolvers with the what do they call
The half moon clip?
Half moon clips or star clips and stuff. So this would give them extra capacity in a revolver also if they were to put it in like their whatever model 60s or some of the little 37, 36 Chief Specials.
That would be interesting. It would be fun.
There's so much potential, really, and it's exciting. I keep saying it's exciting, but we haven't seen this kind of innovation for calibers and handguns for the concealed carry market. I can't remember the last time, really. So it's great.
That really is the case. There's not been a lot of new stuff. I mean, they've tried a couple new things in things that people have rolled out, but then they really haven't taken. It's kind of like, I think the last thing that I remember that was innovative coming into the firearms market was really the flipping the barrel and the cylinder with the Rhino, the Chapa Rhino, and then it didn't seem to take off. But other than that, everything's 100 years old with a couple modifications.
People are still carrying their 1911s and loving it.
I know, and it's like, okay, so I'm just going to make this out of plastic, but it's the same thing, and it's going to look the same, and I'm going to call it the same and all that. So can you hang on, and when we come
This Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code E.
To Julie's history a little bit, so you guys know exactly what kind of a rock star we're talking to. So Julie, so tell us this new CSX Micro that they're talking about. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think this is another sense of innovation for a lot of people. There's a big market out there who want metal framed pistols, who enjoy a hammer fire gun, and so this takes those elements and places them in a micro 9 that's really quite small, and gives you the capacity
Does it have a?
It is tried and true.
Did they put the grip safety or any of that stuff into it, or is it just got a standard thumb safety?
So no grip safety. However, there is an internal firing pin block. There's also an ambidextrous thumb safety, and there is also a trigger safety that extends fully across the face of the trigger. So you've got those three safeties built in, but no grip safety. And what's interesting, as I mentioned, with elements from the M&P series, is that you can actually change out the back straps. So you have a standard size, and then you have one that's even slimmer and smaller for smaller hands, or for those who want that little bit of extra material gone for concealment.
Okay. So do you see a lot of folks carrying single actions for their concealed carry gun?
Well, hopefully I don't see many people carrying anything at all.
Oh, okay.
But
okay, got it.
A little funny there. There is an overwhelming number of people who really like the classic design of a hammer fire gun, and they appreciate something that's single action too, because they're easier for them to shoot, right? So what's really nice about a hammer fire pistol is that you have that visual confirmation of when the hammer is back. And that combined with a loaded chamber indicator is, has a peace of mind, and you can control the hammer, physically control it. So unlike striker-fired guns, everything is contained inside the pistol itself. Hammer-fired guns have a lot of value to a lot of people. So, with the added safety elements built into the CSX, I think that it definitely has a market for those who are looking for something very small. And that's one thing that's really hard to come across in pictures and even in videos, is just how small this pistol is. It's kind of like, to me, it's like a bodyguard on steroids because it's very tiny. It's also lighter than the Shield Plus, and even being aluminum. And so it's a durable kind of, classic design with a lot of modern elements that, I think it really fits a market.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
And how many rounds do they hold?
So the CSX it comes with a 10-round magazine and a 12-round magazine. So 10 plus 1 and 12 plus 1. So very, essentially a lot of capacity for such a small package.
Yeah, a lot. So have you gotten an opportunity to shoot that much, or is it, I mean, I know it's a big secret and it's just coming out, but did they send you one so that you got to shoot it at your range?
Yes, I did. It's really neat. It shoots very flat, and it's because it has, because it's hammer fired and it's sprung differently, and you have that non-flex in the frame. It doesn't seem to flex as much as a polymer frame gun would. Shoots very nicely. It has been, full disclosure here, it's been super cold. This today was the first day we've hit above 32, so I have not done it justice on the range.
And so we had to go to the range, and I was like, don't screw up. But so I got to pick what I wanted to bring out of the safe to take to the range. And that's what I took, was a 9mm 1911 style, because with the longer barrel and the heft of the gun, it's easier to shoot and easier to control, and so it made for a target that I wasn't embarrassed of when they filmed it for TV. So I fully get that. It makes it so much easier. So it's you and the gun, and not.
I can see where this 30 Super Carry might be a lot of fun with an AR upper too, so that you could put it in your pistol caliber.
Carbine.
Oh, yes. The pistol caliber carbine fans are definitely excited to see how this round is going to, one, because it's going so fast, right? And then even more bullets. What? More? It's going to be neat to see what happens there.
Exactly.
Shooting, and we just developed this bond. Eventually we started working events together, so I became a certified range officer by a very young age. And when I was 14, we decided that it was time for me to give it a try. And after all those years of being on the range and learning how to be safe around firearms and learning range rules and firearm safety rules, it made getting into competition simple, And so I started competing and found out that I was, not too bad at it. And
not too bad.
Eventually,
yeah.
I was recruited to shoot for the Army shooting team, and after I got out of the military, I joined the firearms industry and represent Smith & Wesson and Federal Premium and Trijicon and a number of variety of companies, and it's just the best thing ever.
It is. I mean, if you're a gun person to work in the industry at a level where you are, and you keep honing your skills, and you still keep winning competitions. So it's not this case of, oh, well, I did that before and you're resting on your laurels. It is, I did this and I'm still doing this and I'm still winning things. And it is so great to see. So what upcoming professional shooting events do you have on the docket? Is there something else coming up?
So it's a big year for NRA Action Pistol. There's of course NRA the Yankee Cup. With everything with coronavirus, last year was supposed to be a World Championship year in Australia, but we know how things are there. So I don't know if it'll be postponed, delayed, rescheduled, repositioned. We're kind of, a lot of it is in limbo, as with everything these days. But I'm going to be focusing on Action Pistol, which is kind of speed, a little bit of speed, a lot of precision, and a whole lot of fun.
Well, that is great. So we will be watching and with our fingers crossed and holding our breath so that we can be cheering you on and supporting from the backside. We really can. So, folks, Julie Golob, and you just have to look her up and see some of the stuff because she is an impressive gal. Hope to see you in Vegas.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.